Someone has created the T virus.
Wow.
What are they doing in Iceland that they decide to do this?
They're just really bored.
Yeah.
What's up, everyone? You are listening to episode 9 of the recurring Bosscast. I'm Jet from SplitKick.com. With me is Jason from Inside Gaming Daily and Slick Gaming.
Hello.
And also with us is Matt from Biff Bam Pop and something new.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell everyone all about it.
So I just started a new podcast now. We're 2 episodes in, called the Screaming Ego Podcast. And basically it's just a bunch of goofballs talking about interesting things that they find on the internet and in the news and personal stories and all that kind of stuff. So my twin brother, John, I don't know if anybody knows that, but I have a twin brother, an identical twin. Yeah, so if you like me, there's 2 of me.
Have you ever swapped places with him during the show and we just never noticed?
No, you know what? He has a real sort of suave radio voice. Jack can attest to this because he went to school with him. And I have more of a nasally, higher sort of pitched voice. But yeah, so it's basically we just talk about stuff and have a good time. So it's pretty fun.
They did talk about Taylor Swift at one point.
We did, and the whole time I was talking about it, I was thinking Jet should be in on this conversation.
Yeah.
I did want to answer one thing for the record. There was that whole question about if I like Taylor Swift or not.
Yes.
I do like her music, which you did point out. Whether I like her, I mean, she's a pretty girl, and she seems very well-spoken, but the fact that she cannot hold a boyfriend for very long is a very huge red flag to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Something's going on, and I know you have your theories. I've heard some other more curious theories as to why she can't, or at least why her last relationship with that dude from One Direction fell through.
Yeah.
But this is a G-rated show, so we will not discuss that here. I can send you a link or something.
We'll stick with the she's an alien
Yes.
theory for now.
I like that theory.
Yeah.
All right. So what else is going on with you, Matt, besides that?
Man, just not a whole heck of a lot. I got work's just keeping me pretty busy. I did have a chance to play one game fairly extensively, but we'll talk about that in a bit.
Cool. Jason, what's shaking?
Nothing too exciting, but I guess it's exciting for the future because we have Bulls tickets to go see a basketball game coming up.
Awesome.
Yeah,
who are they playing against?
I'm sorry?
Who are they playing against?
They're playing the Jazz, who
Okay.
I think they just beat last week. I can't remember. But yeah, so I've never been to the United Center in Chicago. I've never been to any NBA game. So the only actual major league sport I've been to is baseball several times. So
Cubs are
cool.
Cubs or White Sox?
Oh, God, the White Sox. I cannot do the Cubs.
Right on.
Although I'd love to be in Wrigley Field because it's so historic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's White Sox all the way. And they won, within the last century. So that's
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yes. Yeah. So that'd be cool. And Laura and I have been looking for apartments pretty extensively the past few weeks, and I think we found one that we are definitely going to go with, unless we find one that's better. So we have our base, which is pretty nice to actually have it hammered out like that.
Nice.
Excellent.
So it's in it's in California, and it's expensive comparatively. So
As is everything.
but we get a lot of stuff. So it's 2 bed, 2 bath, and we get either a patio on the first floor, or the other floors we get balconies. And if we go on the second and third floor, we get a fireplace. So I thought that's kind of classy. I like fireplaces.
If you get a fireplace, you also have to get a smoking jacket and a pipe.
It's funny. I told
monocle.
Laura I never do this, but for some reason when I think of me and her coming home from work, I just imagine sitting around the fire, smoking cigars, which I never smoke, and reading books, and I very seldomly read. It's just kind of I don't know, with the fireplace in the middle of the room, that's just what I think I have to do.
Yeah, for sure.
So
it's like a bubble pipe in a comic book kind of thing.
Yeah. Very Bart Simpson. Yeah, I would do that.
Nice.
But yeah, we're going with that, but we're still looking around, and we're going to look at some condos and maybe even some small townhouses and go from there. So
cool. Awesome. Steph was telling me actually about, I can't remember if it was a coworker or a friend who was looking at places in downtown Peterborough, Ontario, So this is like a very small city / town in Ontario. And guess how much the rent was per month for a 1-bedroom plus den?
150.
100.
No, it's not that low.
Wow.
Oh,
I would
don't
say probably in the 350, 400 range.
No, okay, now it's 700.
Oh.
Hmm.
That's not bad.
It's not
That's
bad.
pretty good. I mean, a 1-bedroom plus den in the heart of the city is like more than double that. So,
Yeah, that's for sure.
so much cheaper, but I mean, there's nothing to do in Peterborough, really.
Did I ever tell you guys how much it's going to cost to live in California?
No, you just said it was really expensive, and we figured we wouldn't question you.
Well, let's do the guessing game. What do you think it'll be for this place
So you
per
said
month?
2-bedroom, 2-bath?
2-bed, 2-bath. Yeah, balcony / patio, whichever floor.
Oh, wow.
Well, if I have to go by sort of Toronto standards that I looked at when we were looking for places, I would say probably in the vicinity of like maybe 19 to 2100.
Mm-hmm. Jet.
$1.
This is not Price is Right.
You didn't go over, Bob, but you're pretty close. But I think ours is going to be specifically like 2,500.
Wow,
Oof.
that's
a month.
lot.
Yeah,
Ooh.
and places can go around the 1,900 range, but I don't think they're as big as the one that we're looking at. But some apartments go like 3,000 or 4,000
Oh wow.
that are just like 3-bed, 3-bath, and it's like, man, what are you doing that you need to? Oh, I don't know. It's crazy, especially compared to living here in Indiana, where I think for our house we pay like $700 a month, and it's a house.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
come on.
Man.
But it's just the location, so
I would
whatever.
need to
And the weather's nice.
I would need to start working the corner to pay $2,500 a month on rent.
Mhm.
Not saying how I'm working the corner, but
Yeah,
I would
for
just
sure.
have to work the corner.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, there's plenty of streets, so if that comes to it, I guess I'll have to do that.
You mean as part of a 4-piece a cappella group, right? Jeff?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
right.
exactly it.
That's what I thought.
Well, what else was he talking about? I don't know.
Yeah.
Some moving stuff on my end as well. The day after we recorded the show, Steph and I actually had appointments to see 3 different places, and we fell in love with one. And the next day, we said that we wanted this place, and someone else had already put in an offer for it, and we're ready to take ownership of it immediately. And our lease here isn't up for another month, so it was either we let this place go, or we just have rent for 2 places at the same time for 1 month. And though it's really hurt my bank account and hers, we ended up getting the place.
Nice.
So
Congratulations, man.
we got this awesome condo on the west end of the city. I am, assuming I know where Matt lives, like the general area, I am a little more north and a little more west.
Got it.
But I'm very close to the subway line still.
Sweet. So we need more Wii U parties.
Definitely more Wii U parties. We can play the same games again, because there's nothing new out. Especially with Rayman getting moved
Yeah.
to September.
Yeah. Sadness.
Yeah.
Oh,
that-
speaking of moved, you guys heard about The Last of Us?
Yeah, that got delayed too.
Yeah, it got delayed.
By like a month, though. It's not 6 months, at least.
Yeah, at least. It's still pretty sad.
Yeah, it is sad.
Mhm.
So the move was the move is you haven't moved though yet, Chad. So
We are in the process of moving. So with this entire month to move things, we've just been like loading up the car and making trips back and forth.
Yeah.
So right now, that all that's in my place is our bed, the sofa, and just furniture.
Yeah,
All the game stuff has moved except for my 3DS, the PlayStation, and 3 games. And those 3 games being Rocksmith, Street Fighter 4, and Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
Good choices.
So that's it. I have not, because of the moving stuff, I haven't been playing all that much. So
Yeah.
let's just jump into this.
All right.
Haven't been playing all that much. I did get Fire Emblem Awakening, though it was really hard to find. I heard there was some sort of shipping errors or issues getting that game on store shelves, so no one had it. I ended up having to drive across town after work at this one mom and pop shop that had it. Thank you to Video Games Plus for that. Free plug.
Video Games
And-
Plus. Nicely
Yes. Have you heard of them, Matt?
done. Video Games Plus. Isn't that on Wilson Avenue?
Yes.
Yeah.
That one.
Like Keel and Wilson, sort of that area.
Yes.
Yeah. I used to live right down the street from them.
Oh, okay. Cool. I love that place.
Used to rent video game systems from them when I was younger.
Nice.
I think I rented a Nintendo 64 or something.
I remember when renting video game systems was a thing.
Yeah,
First time I
did
ever
that too.
played a Super Nintendo was because I rented it from Jumbo Video.
Nice. Jumbo Video used to give you free popcorn.
What?
Yes, that was the best thing about
Yeah.
Jumbo Video.
You used to go in, and then right at the door, there'd be free popcorn. You take some popcorn and walk around and look at the games. I missed that.
Canada sounds amazing.
Oh, and the Jumbo Videos used to be gigantic. Like, it would be like Walmart size just for renting videos and video games.
Yeah,
Wow.
for sure. Would you say it was Jumbo?
Yeah.
Everything
Name is
about that
appropriate,
experience
But
was Jumbo.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think anyone rents video game systems anymore. I don't think anyone would want to at this point.
Yeah. Really no reason.
No.
I can't believe Video Games Plus is still around.
Yeah, they've been around for like over 20 years at this point.
Yeah, forever.
Wow.
And they're just a little store, too.
Apparently they're good enough to carry Fire Emblem, so props to them.
It was their last copy. They
you go.
actually pulled it from their online inventory just for me. So thank you guys for that.
And are you enjoying it?
So, I mean, we've talked about Fire Emblem on back-to-back episodes. This would be the third episode in a row, so people have been listening to us talk about this game for the last month and a half. So I'm going to try and keep it short. It is great.
Yeah.
As someone who has played every single Fire Emblem that's come out in North America, it holds up, and it's arguably the best one. I really like their efforts to streamline the game and make it even more in-depth at the same time. In particular, the whole two dudes fighting against one dude mechanic is really smart. And it goes a long way to making the game a lot more interesting. So that is a great game. I'll be reviewing that for Split Kick. I'll go into it in more detail. And the other game I've been playing, not really new, but it has been on my pile of shame for a really long time. Finally got it out of the way. Trials HD.
I love Trials. It's a great game.
Me too. It's a fun game.
So for the one other person that has not played that game yet, it is a game about... No, I'm teasing. My first Trials game was actually Trials Evolution, and that game was awesome, and decided to go back and play HD, and if you have not played either of those games yet, I would recommend playing HD first.
Definitely.
Because Evolution is a pretty big jump forward, and I wouldn't say it's hard to jump back, because Trials HD is still fantastic, but you are better served playing HD first. And that's pretty much all I've been playing, other than the moving game, which is kind of like Tetris, but a lot more physically straining.
And time consuming.
Jason, what have you been playing?
I've actually had what I'm calling a Borderlands 2 / Picross 3D relapse.
Nice.
Because I started playing both those games again. So Laura was a little bit slower at work this past week, so we were able to get into a lot of Borderlands 2's DLC, and the game is still so fun. Oh my gosh. I love that game. It's fun. You can just still pick up and play, and I don't know. I'm still excited for it, and we still have more DLC to get through, so we'll see. But I think I need to upgrade the difficulty, because I'm pretty much not dying at all and killing everyone with like one shot. So maybe when I do the next set of DLC, I'll go to playthrough 2 and actually get challenged.
Maybe you've actually got it set on the hardest difficulty, and you've just become so good.
Oh, I'd like to say that's true, but I know that's just not the case.
You've just become the Neo of Borderlands.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. Yeah, everything is in bullet time. I can just stop them. Yeah, I stop them with my body. But anyways, and Picross is still so good. It has all the quintessential things you need to be an awesome puzzle game. So I always recommend that game. Have you guys played those or no? Picross?
Never played any of them.
Missing out. It's so fun. If you have your 3DS, I want to say Mario's Picross is available on the Virtual Console, the original Game Boy game.
Mhm.
That's still totally worth it.
I know there are no shortage of Picross games out there, and
Yeah,
for whatever reason, I have passed on every single one of them.
you're missing out. You're so good.
I have no excuses. I'm sorry, Jason. Please
That's
forgive
okay.
me.
I actually, I didn't put this on here because I played it for like maybe an hour because I just bought it and wanted to make sure it worked. But I bought Brain Age 2, and I started playing that game, and I thought it was interesting. The little doctor dude said that playing mentally challenging games like before you go to sleep, like a Brain Age or a puzzle game, actually increases your brain like capacity right at that time, and it makes you sleep better.
Really?
So I've always kind of played Picross before I would go to bed, because I would just have it next to my bed and I'd play like a few puzzles and then I'd go to sleep. And I never really thought about it, but when I do that, I actually do feel like I sleep a bit better. So, I don't know. Little virtual Dr. Guy in Brain Age was right.
They should just put that on the front of the game. Also, a sleep
they should.
aid.
Helps you fall asleep. Sleep aid. Yeah, so I did that. And I got Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed for the 3DS for review. And I started playing that yesterday. And I am very, very disappointed with the game already. So I know Jet, you liked it on the console, and I'm not saying that you have bad taste or anything, but I think the 3DS version was just not made well.
Really?
And there's lots of things I was discussing with Laura last night that I thought were standards for the kart racing genre that apparently Sega decided weren't standards and just got rid of them.
Like what?
So for instance, cohesive level design that, you can drive well through this stage and not know where you're going. And I don't know, the game just, there's so many instances where it just feels like the game wasn't finished. And one thing that's just not acceptable at all is when you crash, if you hit something in Mario Kart,
hello,
I don't know, like a bomb,
Jack.
You fly into the air and
Jack,
your guy says something and there's smoke that comes out and you stop.
Hello.
But
Jack,
if you hit something in this game, hello?
Hello.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me, Jet?
And we're back. Sorry
We're
about
back.
that.
Yay!
I don't know, Skype does weird things sometimes. It happens.
Technology for the win.
Yes. So, Jason was talking about Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed on the 3DS.
Yes. And because I thought the game was so bad, Skype decided that it needed to cut out. So that's really
Skype is actually endorsing that game, so you gotta watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sega was just like, nope, we can't have this. Pull the plug.
Yeah. But I thought that things that I thought were standard for the racing genre, they're not in the game. The level design is kind of poor in some cases where you don't know where you're going and it's too easy to fly off the stage, and there's the action moves so fast that you can't tell where there are speed boosts and power-ups on the map, and it's just not that good. So I didn't like that. But then the thing I thought was even worse is that in a Mario Kart game, if you hit something like a bomb, you'll fly up in the air and your character will say something and you'll stop, when you get hit. So it's bad. But in this game, if you hit something, you spin around and you don't spin in full circles. It's kind of like your cart's forward, then it's diagonal, and then it's to the left, and it's just a super rigid motion of spinning out, and you barely stop. So if you run into someone's blowfish, which is essentially a banana peel in the Mario Kart games, you just spin forward and then just keep going. And so it makes, there's no reason why are they there then? So I don't know. It just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But I like the game. I like the idea of all the Sega All-Stars characters, but I feel like the racing is pretty poor.
So I've heard specific complaints that the 3DS version does not hold up to the rest of them. So I would not necessarily use that version as the barometer to measure against.
I am not, yeah.
As for your spinny out thing, I don't even know if that's a term, but when people get hit, they do spin, at least in the real game, the other versions in a full 360, and they do slow down a little bit, though they are still moving forward. Yeah,
and I understand that, and that's fine, but I feel like it's almost like they didn't animate the car or plane or whatever you're in spinning around. They just placed an image of the car facing forward, and then they tilted it to the left, and they tilted it to the left again, and they just kept splicing those images together. So it looks really cheesy. So I don't know.
That sounds like a 3DS thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I mean, I do like how you can kind of upgrade your car, and I like how it shifts. It's not just a racing game. Sometimes you fly, sometimes you're on boats, so that's pretty cool. But I feel like some of these mistakes might hold it back. So full review forthcoming.
That sucks. I would say at least try the demo on the 360.
Oh, yeah, good point. I probably should. Yeah, I'll do that.
Just to kind of center your perspective on things. As I said, I really like the Wii U version. Jim has actually been playing it on the PC of late, and I think he likes it as well, based on what I heard on the Rocket Jump podcast.
So one of the characters I unlocked was Danica Patrick. Is she in the other ones?
Yes, she is.
Okay, I find that strange.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I'm just throwing it out there.
I think Sega sponsors her NASCAR.
She must, yeah. Yeah, that must be why. I mean, she's on the back of the box. It says, play as Danica Patrick and Wreck-It Ralph. It's probably two people you never thought you'd hear in the same sentence.
Yeah, that's
anyways
something.
Yeah, that's what I got going on.
In the next Sonic game, do they get like the GoDaddy, the Super Bowl people just like making out with each other as they're driving in the car?
Exactly.
I heard they did 45 takes of that commercial.
I heard that too.
Man, we are in the wrong line of work.
Yeah, definitely. Apparently, web development is where it's at.
It is.
Anything else you got on your plate there, Jason, or that's it?
Not really. I kind of went on this like game shopping spree yesterday.
I saw that picture on Facebook of just the giant stack of games.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, it's just awesome.
It's still like, it's literally right in front of me. Like I'm touching them right now. I didn't move them because I went to work this morning. But...
List them off.
Okay. I will. You ready?
Yeah.
Go for it.
I got Spyro Attack of the Rhinox on the Game Boy Advance. And that's loose. It's the only one that's loose.
Okay.
The rest are all complete. I got You Don't Know Jack for the PS1, Centipede for the PS1, and Frogger for the PS1.
I have played Frogger for the PS1 recently.
Really?
That game is bad.
Bad like good bad or bad like bad bad?
Bad.
Okay. See, I remember playing it when I grew up, and I actually kind of liked it, but I was like 10. So
Steph had a copy of Frogger for the PlayStation 1 at her parents' place, and I think it was over Christmas when we threw that in and tried it out, and I could not stand it. It just does not hold up well at all.
Yeah, I don't remember the game well enough to give a valid reason of whether I like it or not, but I mean, I remember it being Frogger, you just hop around the road, but that's all I remember. Yeah. So, anyways, moving on from there, I got Metroid Prime Pinball for the Nintendo DS, and interesting story, I never even knew that they made a DS Rumble Pack, but apparently they did. And it came with Metroid Prime Pinball.
That was like one of 3 games that used it.
Yeah, not too many used it. Yeah, I didn't even know it existed, but strangely enough, all those games I just listed, I got from the same store. And I also saw in their Game Boy Advance section, they had the DS Rumble Pack. And I was like, oh, that's interesting, I should buy that. So I bought it. So unwillingly, I ended up buying, the 2 separate things that were completed the same package, so I got kind of lucky.
Sweet.
But, yeah, so that's cool. And then I got Rygar on the Wii, which I never knew that existed, and apparently it's terrible. And I got The Blob on the Wii.
Yes. That game is fantastic.
One of your best. Yeah, I liked it. I liked what I played so far. I got it from my nephew a few years ago for Christmas, and it was fun.
It is one of those games that I can just put in, and it just makes me smile. I don't know what it is about that game. It's just so joyful and happy and fun.
Well, that's good. I look forward to it. Yeah, I mean, it looks fun. I like to play it more, I guess.
It's great, and a lot better than the sequel, which came out on every other platform.
Right.
And
yeah,
that was one of the most disappointing games of this console generation for me, because I love that Wii version so much.
Sad.
And for when it got to the sequel, it was kind of like the Skylanders Giant scenario, where they added one major thing, but that one major thing really sucked, so the rest of the game was basically the exact same as last time.
Yeah.
Not good. It's by THQ, I see, too.
Yes,
so
it is.
Probably didn't help.
R.I.P.
Well, moving on.
You should have bought the Blob franchise.
You should have.
Oh, man.
You could have bought it.
Totally forgot about that. Is it too late?
Yes, unfortunately.
I don't know.
No, didn't they say they were going to auction off some other secondary stuff and old franchises? That would be one I would actually be interested in throwing some money down for.
The Blob.
The Blob.
Honestly, if you could buy the Blob franchise for, let's say, like $5,000, it's obviously not a good franchise.
I just don't think it got the right push. Also, that second game was garbage. But with the right team behind it, it could go back to its glory. The first game sold like 1 million copies.
Did it really?
Yeah, I think you're right.
It was a sleeper hit. So, I mean, it has a proven track record, sort of, kind of. I don't know. But the Blob 3, am I the only one here that wants it? Probably.
Yeah. No, I like it. I like series to continue.
It was one of my favorite Wii games. Track it down if you have not played that. I know
the
Jason
Blob
just did.
It was only $5 too, so it was cheap.
That's your magic price?
Yeah, exactly. I know. And with Rygar, it was buy one get one half off, so it was even better.
There you go.
Great deal.
Anyways, I also picked up the last 2 Burger King games that I didn't have for $1 each.
You completed the holy trifecta.
Yeah, Big Bumpin' and Pocket Bike Racers are now mine.
Nice.
So, will I play them? Most likely never, but you never know.
One of the most coveted trilogies around.
Yeah, exactly. And then, easily the best deal I ever found. Like, maybe not ever, but one of the best deals, definitely the best of yesterday and the best I found in a long time. This one store that's mainly a bookstore decided they weren't going to sell games anymore, or that's what I assume, because their small lineup of games they had was about like 20. They pushed them all to $5.
Wow.
So I ended up getting new copies of Lego Star Wars 3, The Clone Wars, and Lego Pirates of the Caribbean for the PS3. And on the Wii, I also bought Lego Pirates of the Caribbean for my nephew. And then on the Xbox, I got the Dreamcast collection, Dance Central, the first one, Dance Masters, the Konami release, and Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
For $5 each.
All for $5. Like $5 each, yeah.
I have also played Dance Masters. I don't know
Yeah,
if you've seen
I
that.
heard it's meh.
It's terrible.
Okay, yeah.
That's the one where it kind of has like a Guitar Hero style note system, but it has the wacky arm flailing tube man as your guide to your moves.
Yeah.
And none of the dance moves connect together, so...
Yeah, see, and I don't know why they did that, because Konami, when they did, I think it was DDR Extreme on the PS2, incorporated iToy, so you can move like your hands. And it was the stupidest feature you ever could have put in the game. Like, it was so dumb. And so I'm pretty sure that's probably what they did for this game, and just said, yeah, people will buy it, and then no one bought it.
Except Jason bought it.
Yeah,
well, you bought it. But I bought it for $5.
That's true.
Some of my intention with some of these is to maybe sell them in the future. Like, I already have Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but now I have it sealed. So maybe I'll like sell it for like $40 and make money. But I don't know.
Would it really go for $40 with Ultimate out?
Yeah, sealed. Yeah, sealed. That might be good, but I checked online yesterday and it sells from, like, someone bought it for $35, someone did $38. So
that strikes me as odd, because that game sold a lot of copies, and I don't think there's much collector value in regular Marvel vs. Capcom 3, and even as a game, like, that has the DHC glitch in it, and it's pretty busted.
Yeah, but I think from a collector standpoint, I don't know. The quality of gameplay I don't think matters, but I like the fact that it's sealed. Like, having it sealed is a bit nicer, and I'm never going to open it because I already own it. So, I don't know. Maybe in the future it'll be one of those rare games like, oh man, do you have Marvel vs. Capcom 3? It's like $6,000.
Yeah.
And there it is.
The news announces like a ridiculous price for it, and Jason's sitting in his house like, yes, finally happened.
Sipping my tea. Yes. The game is actually like, in like this shrine I built, just hoping.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, MVC 2 sells for a lot of money, so maybe I'll get lucky. You never know.
Never know.
But yeah, that's what I got. So, that's what you can do when you get bored and decide to waste money.
All right.
Anyways, where were we?
Matt,
Yeah.
I see you have been playing a pretty big-time release that we have surprisingly not talked about at all on this show to date.
Surprisingly, I know. So I played Far Cry 3, and I actually beat it. So I put...
Whoa.
Yeah, I kind of went on a roll. I started playing it, and then just went right through to the end. It's the first time in a while I've actually played a game to completion, like, in a short amount of time. It took me about 21 hours. So it was pretty good. The game is awesome. The storyline, okay. A few things, I don't know, like I talked to you guys because I know, Jet, you were still wanting to play it, but there were a couple of spoilers that I was going to probably bring up, and I didn't want to ruin it for you. So, but you said that's okay if we talk about it?
I'm okay with it. Jason, are you okay with Far Cry 3
I am okay.
spoilers?
Fire
All
away.
Okay,
Go
so
for it.
As we
Spoilers,
said,
spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers for anybody that hasn't played yet. Obviously, from the commercials and everything, you see the game is centered around the bad guy whose name is Voss, and he's the kind of island guy with the mohawk and the gun that talks about insanity and all that stuff in the previews. So, as I said, spoilers. You basically like get rid of him fairly early in the game, and he was a fantastic character, really good enemy, and like completely psychotic, and one of the sort of the gripping elements of the game. And after you get rid of him, the game kind of never really regains that sort of feeling. So
Really?
yeah, the last half of the game feels really sort of empty and not like shallow. You know what I mean? So yeah, I was really sort of disappointed with it, and also like the way it all happens too is very sort of lackluster, and I don't know. As far as the actual gameplay though, it's fantastic. The only bad thing I found was when you have to upgrade your guns as you go along. The ones you start with are only iron sights on the guns. So you don't have any like red dot sights or anything like that, which you get later on. The iron sights are terrible. You can't hit a thing. And it doesn't matter how good you are aiming. If you put the reticle right over your target, you still won't hit it. It's terrible. You have to basically run right up to people and kill them or you won't hit them.
Now, do you think it's something because the iron sights are like bad, or is this RPG elements coming into the gameplay?
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. If it is, they did it really well. If it isn't, they did it really poorly.
Right.
But I mean, other than that, fantastic game. I played it on PC. I got a pretty, I would say, really good PC to play it on, so it looked really good. I would say it's probably one of the best looking, if not the best looking game I think I've played on the PC. But I'm going to be playing Crysis 3 when it comes out, so we'll see if that still holds up. But yeah, it's so far so good. I mean, as I said, the last thing that I want to bring up about it was the ending. Not really. Yeah, it's spoilers. But it's sort of confusing because so you play the entire game going towards this point of which is essentially saving your friends and getting off the island kind of thing, and the entire thing is sort of they give you a choice at the end of whether or not you want to stay on the island or whether or not you want to leave. So one has severe consequences, the other has severe consequences. So I picked sort of the lesser of two evils and decided to leave the island. So you go through this cutscene of where you leave the island and then you start back on the island. So like it's not really like a new game plus, but it's like, do you want to continue? And you're like, sure, and then it throws you back on the island and you're free to run around. But I get it because you can still play the game, but it doesn't really hold for continuity because if you got off the island, what are you doing still on the island? Right? And like everybody's dead, so you're basically running around, doing capturing waypoints and skinning animals and stuff. But yeah, kind of sort of broke the continuity for me when it was like, you're free, you get to go off the island, and now you're back on the island again with no friends. So, but yeah. Oh no, the gameplay is really good. The game looks good. The sounds and everything are fantastic. But just, I don't know, few plot holes. And again, the loss of such a great enemy at the beginning, or sorry, not the beginning, but early on, really kind of flattened out the end experience for me. Because there is another enemy in it, but he's definitely nowhere near as close to being as good as the first enemy. So, yeah, kind of an interesting experience, but good takeaway. It was good.
Have you played any of the other Far Cry games before this one?
You know what? I haven't. But I've heard the Far Cry 2 is really good. But I've heard the Far Cry 2 is like a lot more sort of politically motivated, the storyline. Whereas this one's sort of just like a survival kind of... They really went away from the sort of political stuff in this one. But
okay. I've had no interest to play a Far Cry game until this one. When the reviews started coming in, they were all crazy good. It was not high enough on my priority list of games to get, and I passed on Boxing Day, and I've just got so many other games to play that I will probably get it when it hits like $20 or something.
Yeah.
Not to say that it's not worth it, but I've just got a bunch of other stuff on my list to get through before I can get to that one.
Totally. And that's kind of why I enjoy Steam as well, because Steam has these sort of flash game sales, because I play a lot of games on PC and they drop random games down really low at random times, so I kind of always keep my eye on it, and sometimes you get some pretty good games for really cheap, and newer games as well.
Wasn't there a Far Cry game on the Wii?
Yes, there was.
Yeah, did you play that one? Or
I
no?
did not.
No,
I had a friend who owned that game though. I don't remember what he thought of it. Probably not.
Apparently it's Far Cry Vengeance.
I never owned a Wii, so I didn't play it on the Wii.
It has a solid Metacritic score of 38.
Wow. Yeah, I'm looking. IGN gave it a 4.0.
Hey, it's higher than Aliens Colonial Marines.
Oh, that game's getting a bad rap.
It might not be.
Yeah, did any of you guys have any interest in Aliens Colonial Marines?
Yeah, I'm not even a fan of that series. I mean, I like them, but I wouldn't call myself like a super fan, but that game looked really cool and so promising, and to hear that it's so poorly received is like a big letdown. I'm disappointed, and not even playing it, and I'm disappointed.
So I'm assuming you were not a big Aliens fan going into this?
No, like I liked the first movie I think it was the first one. It's the only one I've actually seen, and then I saw Prometheus, which is okay.
Yeah,
and I really liked Aliens Infestation, the one on the DS. That was great. And and that's all I've had. But I still thought the game looked cool.
I have a copy of Aliens Infestation sitting in my pile of shame.
Nice.
It's good. Totally worth it.
Yeah, I got that for like $5 a couple of months ago.
I
heard Ben say that it was really good, and I saw it for super cheap and decided to pick it up. And I was like, "Yep, I'm going to get to this someday."
Yeah, you won't be disappointed. It's
Working
fun.
on it.
Yeah, it's sort of a shame that Colonial Marines was so badly reviewed for a game with such a long dev cycle.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, they were like, "We just have to make some money on this. Just get it out."
Yeah. Was that game getting scrapped and then Gearbox picked it up or something?
No.
Like kind of like they did with Duke Nukem?
Gearbox was commissioned to do that from the beginning. But from what I've heard, there was that Reddit post from someone who was supposedly a developer, or supposedly is a developer at Gearbox, and if I'm spreading false rumors, I apologize, but this is just what I heard, or what I read, was that Gearbox was commissioned to do it, but Gearbox had other projects on the go, and kept pushing it back, and eventually they decided to outsource it. And when the outsource guys got it, they fell way behind schedule, and the game wasn't all that good, but they just had to finish it in order to not face legal action from Sega.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's...
And the studio they gave it to is relatively small, too, right? Like, they hadn't put out anything substantial.
No.
This is a Sega hate fest. First it was Sonic, and now it's Aliens.
Hey, we're just giving reviews, man. We're not... we don't make the games.
Just passing them out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's sad.
Well, I mean, Sega has no shortage of fails in their lineage, so, I mean,
true.
Add one more to the pile, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Ouch. Nice low blow. Did you ever play the, I think it was Aliens vs. Predator, the arcade machine?
Yes, that was a Capcom game, right?
Yeah, that was Capcom. God, that game was so fun.
That game was awesome.
Yeah, why can't they just make that game again?
I would love to see that game come back in a Xbox Live or Virtual Console style release.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet.
So fun. And I'm sure like no one's ever played it either, which is sad. I was so lucky that we actually had one in I think it was our Pizza Hut. And
nice.
It was cool.
The Woodbine Center out here in Toronto had that machine, and I used to play it all the time when I was over
that's
there.
Awesome.
The theater, right by the movie theaters.
Yes. Yeah, there actually was an Aliens game that was like Alien vs. Predator that starred Ripley. And I did not know that existed, but I saw a video of it on YouTube and was like, oh man, I wish I could play that one.
Yeah, I didn't even know about that. That's crazy. That arcade
maybe in the
still
future,
around.
6 more years from now, we'll have a good Aliens game.
Yeah.
We should have... Bosscast topic of the week. We probably could have done an Aliens-themed... That would have been very timely and relevant. But we are totally unprepared for that.
Yeah.
Man.
Timely and relevant. Who needs that?
Aliens vs. Predator on the Jaguar apparently was really great.
Who had a Jaguar? Yeah. Everyone that says that has to use that disclaimer, apparently, because no one ever played it.
Yeah, one guy played it and reviewed it, and that's what everybody's been going off of.
Yeah, I off the top of my head, the only game I've ever played, the Alien games I've ever played, was that Capcom arcade game.
Nice.
Yeah. And then the Infestation.
Which I will get to eventually. Alright, speaking of the Bosscast topic of the week, a couple of days from now, Sony is doing their big PlayStation meeting presentation where, presumably, they are going to be unveiling the PlayStation 4.
Ooh.
So... instead of being relevant and talking about that, because we kind of already did on our 2013 preview show, we're going to go in the complete other direction, and we're going to talk about the PS3.
Nice.
And we will do a PS3 retrospective show. We are burying the PS3 alive, even though it's still probably got at least a year to go. So we are going to be the first podcast with the PS3 retrospective. So where to start? I wanted to start off with... kind of setting the context for what the PS3 was getting itself into. So, back around the mid-2000s, the PlayStation 2 was the greatest selling home console of all time. Sold well over 100 million units, and they were on top of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Kings. Yeah. I did not own a PlayStation 2, but I'm pretty sure you guys did and had a lot of games and loved it.
Yep.
So,
excellent system.
Going into this, the Sony brand had a lot of confidence in their next system, and they unveiled this PlayStation 3, which apparently could do everything. I mean, not just the play on the advertising, but they were advertising some really crazy stuff about it. Like, I remember Ken Kutaragi talking about games being able to run in 4D, whatever the heck that means, and
just making up things.
He would start making up things. Yeah. Like, the system would sell a million consoles, even if it had no games for it. I remember them saying that people would get second jobs so they can afford a PlayStation 3. All of this type of crazy stuff. And as someone who was not a Sony guy at all, I just remember resenting that brand so much for their cockiness going into this particular console cycle. I mean, especially after that E3 presentation of Ridge Racer and Giant Baby Crabs, and was that the one where they also said you could use your PSP as a rearview mirror?
Yeah, for the racing
all of
games.
that type of stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
No. It wasn't even close.
No. So, I mean, I was already biased going into it. I was not very interested in the system for other reasons, but how about you guys? Like, going into the pre-release stuff, were you at all hyped for the PS3?
So, I can probably speak to this because I worked for a company that marketed the PS3 when it came out.
Cool.
And it was actually really good. I mean, I was hyped for it, but we had gotten a whole lot of sort of training on it, and we'd gotten previews of it and stuff. So when we went out on the road, we kind of knew what we were getting into. We went out with like a basketball game. I think it was, I can't remember which one it was when it first came out, but I remember just looking at it and seeing the graphics and going like, man, this is pretty crazy. And then obviously it was sort of in the midst of that HD DVD Blu-ray war going on. And clearly I think everybody sort of knew that Blu-ray was the way it was going to go. So it had that going forward as well. So, I mean, there was a lot of buzz surrounding it. I remember looking at the graphics, as I said, and I don't know, I guess I kind of fell into the hype. But I was really excited for its launch.
Yeah, I'd say that pretty much opposite of you, Jed. I was a PlayStation, lover, and I love the PS2 and the PS1, so I was super psyched, and I was very anti-Xbox. And so when I saw the 360 already out, I was like, man, like, come on, Sony, you got to do something really great. And so I was pretty much sold on everything. I thought it would be really great, and it was backwards compatible, the 60 gig, so I really liked that. And then the Blu-ray was really good, so I liked that. But the one key thing that I didn't like were any of the games. Like, there was nothing there. Yeah. And so, like when it finally came out, I ended up not buying it until the summer. Yeah, so this next summer, summer of 2007. And I don't know. Nothing was there, like at the launch, to make me want to buy it. And dear Lord, the price tag, I was going to go nowhere near. Yeah. So, I don't know. It was a shaky start, even for someone that really, really liked the PlayStation brand.
Yeah, that price point of $599 US was really astronomical. That was 3DO numbers at that point. And
yes, I'd say it was egotistical. So I don't.
Speaking of, I would love to do a 3DO retrospective someday. I don't know if any of you guys put much time into the 3DO, but also at the Woodbine Center, there was an electronics store that had a 3DO set up, and I used to play that thing all the time. Nice. I don't know, maybe just because I played demos and didn't actually buy one, I really liked the 3DO, but... Mm-hmm. Anyway, back to the PS3. So, launch lineup, not that great. I don't remember too much. I know Resistance was part of that crop.
I believe so, yeah.
That's the only one I remember. Was Heavenly Sword there? I don't know. No, not yet. Launch window, maybe.
Launch window-ish.
What else was there?
I'm looking here. So there was... U.S. launch titles were Blazing Angels, Squadrons of World War I. World War II, rather. Call of Duty 3. Genji Days of the Blade,
Yes.
Ugh.
Madden NFL 07, Marvel Ultimate Alliance,
Eh.
Mobile Suit Gundam Crossfire, NBA and NHL 2K7, and Resistance Fall of Man was one of it. Obviously, Ridge Racer, Tiger Woods 07, and Tony Hawk's Project 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
Resistance is good. I liked Resistance.
Resistance was good. It was a good series.
I only own a copy of Resistance 2, and I've never played any of them. And I hear the one Resistance game
good.
I have is the worst one, so...
Yeah, it's interestingly enough, they said here that because I don't know, you guys remember when PlayStation 3 launched, there was none of them. You couldn't find one anywhere, right? People were lining up around corners to get them. It says here that prices, pre-sales on eBay reached a high of over $17,500 US.
Wow.
During its first week of release in the US, PlayStation 3 systems were being sold on eBay upwards of $2,000 a piece.
Oh my lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those days. I was super gung-ho for the Wii, and that was coming out a week afterwards, and I remember passing by the Best Buys and the Future Shops just before the launch of the PS3 and seeing the lines wrapped around the store of people super excited for this thing, or super excited to sell it on eBay.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. You could be right.
Or there was the YouTube guy that smashed the PlayStation 3 in front of the line of people waiting to buy one.
I remember that video.
Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes of pre-release hype from Sony was when the 6-axis was unveiled, and it had motion in it, but they took out the rumble, and they claimed that rumble was last gen.
Yeah.
So much for that.
Yeah.
And then the DualShock 3 came out. Yeah, I don't know. 6-axis, and I commend them for trying something new with the 6-axis. It didn't really work that well, but I thought the controller just felt way too light.
Yeah, it did.
Like when I picked it up, it didn't have the heft that it needed to be there. Like it felt like a toy, and I guess it kind of is a toy, but it just felt not real.
Yeah.
And I did not like that at all.
Yeah, and then to go with the 6-axis, I think it was Lair, the dragon flying game that they released that you could fly with the 6-axis, and it was the worst controlled game ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was shopping for these games yesterday, I was in a GameStop, and they had 6 copies of Lair on this rack, and I believe they were each $2.
Yeah, that's about right.
I'm pretty sure it costs more to make the case.
Did you buy a copy of Lair?
I did not, and I can't believe it. Like I didn't want to even touch it. I was like, nah. Maybe eventually. Maybe when it goes to $1, I'll buy it.
It's not even worth the frustration for $1.
Nah, no.
It's a shame that game was as bad as it was, because that ended up that game ended up closing Factor 5, and Factor 5 used to do the Rogue Squadron games, and those are fantastic.
Yeah, those are great games.
See what happens? You replace it with a dragon, everything goes downhill.
Yeah. X-Wings are not dragons.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, like, at this point in the PlayStation's life, things are very hazy for me specifically because I had a Wii and an Xbox, did not care about Sony at all. I had heard some rumblings about Uncharted being really good, though I would not get to play that until years later. So...
Which it was. It was fantastic.
Yes. And still is great.
Yeah.
The first Uncharted game, I liked it, but I did not love it. I thought it was good, but not great. I think the second game is fantastic. Still unbelievable today.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Still one of my all-time favorite games. The third one, what did you guys think of that one?
I never beat the third one, but I liked it. It was just kind of like, I loved the second one so much that I think no matter what happened, I wasn't going to like this one as much, so I kind of went into it a little bit jaded.
Yeah.
Didn't give it a fair chance.
Uncharted 3 is a great game, but I just felt like it did not hold. It was not as good as Uncharted 2. Maybe you put them side by side, I think Uncharted 2 is the better game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that was maybe the biggest success for Sony as far as gaming franchises.
Nathan I'd say so.
I would love to play more of those games. I hope they announce something soon. Though I think the next major, at least the rumor has it that the next big game from Sony, at least for the next gen, is Killzone 4.
That's what they're saying. Yeah.
Did you guys play Killzone 2 or 3, which were both big time releases for the PlayStation 3 during its lifespan?
No. I didn't. No.
I've played an hour of Killzone 2, and something about movement and shooting in that game just felt off to me. And maybe it's not fair to Killzone, but it did not feel like Call of Duty. And there was just a certain level of inertia to everything that you did that I just could not grasp. Also, all of the characters were jerks, and those guys really rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the crux of any first-person shooter in this day and age now. It's going to constantly be compared to Call of Duty. And it's not going to stack up. I mean, there's certain shooters that do different things that make it interesting, but ultimately, I mean, you've got a generation that's going to compare you to Call of Duty relentlessly, so...
That's true. Every shooter is going to catch up to it, so it didn't matter what Sony did. Even with its two unique shooting franchises, they were all behind Call of Duty.
Yeah, so Killzone was one of the first games I got when I eventually got my PS3. I think when I did, I bought it with Uncharted 1 and Little Big Planet. And Little Big Planet, for me, was a huge disappointment.
Really?
Really? You didn't like
that? I hate the
that?
jumping in that game.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's really airy, like really light.
Yep, couldn't do it. If you had that game and it had the Mario jump in it, I'd be all over it. But
True.
I just cannot stand that jump. And there was one level in the game where I think it was Asian themed, and the end of it had like these really narrow platforms that you had to jump on. And I spent a good half hour trying to get through it, couldn't do it, and I just quit. And I've not played the game since.
Yeah. I don't know. I felt like, it definitely was a very airy jump, but after I felt like I got it down, I loved that game. I thought it was really, really fun. And I never created anything because I am a horrible creative person. I get headaches. But that aspect alone and seeing what people made online was just phenomenal. And I think Media Molecule and Sony really pegged it as this thing that would be great because everyone would make stuff. And a lot of people did, but I don't think it changed my life in gaming. Like, it didn't make me inspired to make my own stuff, and I didn't feel like I got any extra value from that aspect of the game, but I liked it. I thought it was a really fun game, and I think it's one of the few games I've ever played on the PlayStation with, like, other people that, like, at the same time in my room that don't play many games, and they still liked it.
Yeah.
So it was easy for them to jump and hold R1 to hold on to, like, the ceiling, and then we race a car around, and that's cool. And, props to them for making it that way, because that's definitely a challenge. But yeah, I like that. I liked it a lot. And Sackboy's so cute.
He is cute.
He's a PlayStation All-Star.
He is indeed.
So is Nathan Drake. So actually, pretty much so is everyone on this list of great games we have here.
Yeah, except Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah. Come on.
Other game.
Speaking of going back to Naughty Dog, they did Uncharted. All their games released in 3s, so I wonder if they're done with Uncharted altogether.
That's a good question. I don't know.
They did do Uncharted on the Vita, so that's technically 4.
Yeah, but then you can get technical with the other ones, because they technically did Crash Team Racing, which is 4 on that, and then they did Jack X, which is 4 with Jack and Daxter.
But then they also did the Uncharted card game, so that's 5.
No, that's not a game. I'm offended you even brought that up.
And technically, Naughty Dog didn't even do Golden Abyss. It was done by another studio.
Oh, well, there you go.
I think it was overseen by them, but it wasn't done specifically by them. I don't know. I mean, I think it's. There's no doubt that an Uncharted 4 would sell. So, I mean, I don't know. Depends. Depends if they're done making money off of it. Because they would make money if they made a 4, so. Yeah,
right now I'm presuming that both the next Xbox and the next PlayStation are going to be coming out around the same time. And for me, the big selling point, or the thing that would push me over the edge to get the new PlayStation, is a new Uncharted game. Just show me the sizzle reel.
I would definitely love it.
Oh man, it's Nathan Drake, and he's in this environment that's completely crumbling around him. And...
Jet's just like, take my money. Just take it. Take my money.
That would be it.
Well, this makes me think of a question. Now, at the release of a new console, would you rather see like familiar faces come back in new games, or just brand new IPs altogether? Would that make you sway one way or the other?
I want to mix it both.
Yeah, I would say
okay. Okay, but you have to choose. I'm devil's advocate. What would you rather have?
It's a tough one. It really...
Tough one. I think for myself, I'd rather see the familiar faces first, and then like shoot me, into new stuff later. So like, so if PS4 comes out and Naughty Dog's like, hey, our next new project is Crash Bandicoot, I would say take my money. Like, just, you can have it right now. Like, that's what I want to see. Yeah. And then from there they can do, hey, we're doing this new random game about, I don't know, couches or something.
I'm trying to think of
Couch Hero.
I'm trying to think of game consoles that I've bought and the games that I've got with them at launch, and I think they were all familiar faces when I think about all the systems that I bought.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're a Nintendo fan, I mean, Mario's always there.
No, not always. When the GameCube came
always,
out, I bought Wave Race as my launch game because there was no Mario. It was just Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah, but even but I mean, Wave Race is still
familiar face.
A franchise.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, my two first games for the GameCube were Wave Race, Blue Storm, and Super Monkey Ball, which at the time was a new face, and that game was amazing.
Yeah, that game's great. Now it's not so
they're
much.
Pretty terrible now. But yeah, that was if Super Monkey Ball was my first game on the GameCube, I'd be totally satisfied with that. So it really depends.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I guess it does depend. I mean, if they showed off a crazy good-looking... Like, let's say The Last of Us was, going to be PS4 exclusive, I'd be really interested, because that looks great.
Any other games you guys want to highlight? I'm looking at this list, and there's a lot that we have not talked about yet. I want to throw this one in the mix. Heavy Rain.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say I loved it, but it was good. It was actually, I don't know if I told you guys before, one of the only games where Liza would actually sit down and watch it like a movie as I played it.
I will.
Yeah.
So
it is very cinematic.
I will say that I loved Heavy Rain. And that, just like you, Matt, my dad actually sat down and watched me play the entire thing. Because he was just so captivated by the story and the fact that they made this into a game. Like, why are you brushing your teeth? Why are you taking a shower? But, like, it just builds up into a game unlike anything else. And the only game that comes close to that is The Walking Dead. And in certain ways, The Walking Dead does the Heavy Rain thing better, but in other ways, it doesn't. So, I mean, that game is very near and dear to my heart, and I'm so excited for Beyond Two Souls.
Oh yeah, me too. The thing about Heavy Rain was, like, there were a lot of very sort of, I mean, obviously Walking Dead was very emotional, but, I mean, Jet, obviously, and obviously spoilers if anybody hasn't played it, the cutting off your own finger scene.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not something you expect, and then when it happens, you're sitting there like, did I really just do this? You know what I mean? And not something you would had, or at least I had experienced in any game up until then. I mean, it was cool. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, talking about games that make you feel things, Heavy Rain absolutely took me on an emotional roller coaster.
Definitely.
And I'll never forget playing that particular scene and going, oh man, am I going to do it? Am I going to do it? And I just, like, grabbed the cleaver and just chopped it. And then realized later on that you actually could prepare yourself for that by cauterizing things. And nope, I just raw dogged it.
Yeah. And then the whole time you're
awesome.
thinking that, something like, oh, it's not going to let me do it. Like, I'll push the button, but then, like, someone will break in the door and then it'll stop me or whatever. And then all of a sudden it's like, sliced, it's gone. Like, wait, nobody stopped me.
Screw your metagame, chopping
here?
your hand off.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I see on the list you have Demon Souls. That was a great game. I think it was important that it got released, just because it kind of spawned this new sort of, or I guess more rekindled that subgenre of crazy ass hard RPG.
Yeah. Speaking of Demon Souls, I just remembered JJ had a whole bunch of feedback, and one of them he tweeted about Demon Souls and how games make you feel, and he said Demon Souls was one of the first games that, like, made him feel, like, oppressed the entire way through. And I can totally see that, having played Dark Souls. His other show feedback was around Mass Effect 3, which I thought all three of us had finished, but we hadn't, so I kind of cut it. I'm sorry, JJ. But those were great points.
Yeah, Yeah, we all read them. They were good. Well, Jason did.
How far did you get
it was me. I'm the one that didn't finish it. I'm the bad one.
How far did you get in Mass Effect 3, Jay?
I haven't started it.
Whoa,
so
I'm
not far
sorry
at all.
that I put those in there.
No, I saw you labeled it Mass Effect 3 spoilers, and I was like, scroll. Just kept going. I've actually still managed to not know anything about the ending besides there's some crazy controversy.
Don't worry about the ending. Just play the game, and then when you get to the end,
I just want to play and enjoy. Yeah.
At this point, you could play it, and the ending is different now, so it's
true. Yeah, good point.
Yeah, the game you will beat now is not the game that Matt and I beat last year.
The disappointing.
Which I want to beat that game. Like I want, the original experience. So
I don't know if you want the original experience.
Yeah. Okay.
I wouldn't wish for that.
Maybe I'll play it soon. I don't know. I've got so many. Obviously, I have 17 games right here, anyways. So we'll see.
Yeah, Demon's Souls, PS3 exclusive. That was I haven't played it. I see it on the shelf all the time, and after playing Dark Souls, I said, maybe I'm gonna wait on this one. But I know that a lot of people love that game and swear by it as their favorite game this gen.
So tough, though.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any downloadable games that really stood out. Oh yeah, you have Journey right there.
I cannot stand that game, but to its credit, there are a lot of people that really love Journey and the experience it gave them and the feelings it made them feel. It's just that I did not feel any of them at all.
Yeah, no,
I thought it was really pretty wallpaper.
Yeah, that's basically what I felt too. I didn't get any of that. Nope. I didn't feel any feelings playing that game. Like it was good looking, but I didn't really get anything out of it.
It was really pretty and really nice to listen to. The soundtrack is incredible. Yep. I will give it that much. I mean, other downloadable games, I feel like we're missing a whole bunch because...
Well, I can think of a lot, but I wouldn't say they're like super great. Like Flower was pretty cool, but it wasn't really great. And Flow is kind of the same way.
Those in the Journey collection, but after playing Journey, you just went, maybe I've had enough artsy-fartsy games for the time being.
Well, there's Fat Princess. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was
a good game.
I liked it, but I wouldn't say it's like one of the most memorable. I guess on exclusive side, because there's not too many. But yeah, it was good. I can't even think of what else was released.
MGS4.
Oh, yeah.
That, for a long time, that was going to be the game that saves the PS3. And when it was released, it got rave reviews and people loved it. I have never played a Metal Gear game before, so I'm just throwing that out there for anyone that wants to pick that up.
They're pretty difficult as well. Just as a...
Yeah, I've only played the first one. I didn't even beat it. Just, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, I mean, 4 looks, like, visually, it looks great.
Yeah, but it
looks great.
It's so tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you have to sort of really like that style of game. Metal Gear Solid fans, like, you either really like it or you don't like it at all. This is what I found anyway.
One other game I wanted to throw out there. I know there's other ones like Infamous, but I don't like Infamous at all. One that the last maybe major PS3 exclusive that I played recently, Valkyria Chronicles. Turn-based strategy game from, I think that's a Sega joint, right?
I think it is.
Yeah.
Maybe they're going to get some love after all.
We've talked about this on and off on the show, and I thought that game was fantastic. Just totally unique take on strategy, and something you cannot find on any other platform other than Sony. So, yeah, that's definitely one that you should check out if you have not played that yet. Other things you guys wanted to talk about on this particular platform? I know that someone, I don't know if it was either you, Jason, or Matt, that put in this biggest disappointments category, but then I just wrote a whole bunch of stuff that I wrote as disappointments, not to be overly negative, but just a bunch of flags that I had in there. One of them was the PlayStation Move.
Yeah, big disappointment.
I have one of those now, actually, for Wonderbook, and I'm planning on breaking it out eventually to play House of the Dead Overkill, but I'm in no rush.
Yeah, it just never took off.
Yeah, it didn't. And, I mean, I think even if it did, where was it going to go? Like, I don't know. I don't think anybody really wanted that, because everyone already had a Wii.
Exactly.
Or they could get one, so... bad choice. But they had to. I mean, I think Sony was cornered into that market. Just, if they didn't have it, people wouldn't even go there. And unfortunately, it was just a bad choice.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jason, I guess since you wrote this, you started off this list. What did you find disappointing about trophies?
Trophies? Oh, okay.
He's like, how much?
I think. No, it won't be that long. I like the idea of achievements and stuff, and I think it's fine that PlayStation has their own. But I just felt like I didn't like how you had to load them to begin with from like some of those games. Like I didn't like how that worked. I thought that was kind of like a weird choice. But second, I felt like the implementation of how trophies looked to your, let's call it like social media aspect of your gameplay, it wasn't nearly as cool or as fun to browse through as like Xbox achievements. Mm-hmm. So like if you're looking online on Xbox and you're kind of bored, you can be like, oh, I wonder what Jet's been playing, and you can kind of go through and look, but you can't really do that on PlayStation. And it's just kind of like Microsoft set it up so well, and I wanted that. And I think Sony wanted to copy it, but I felt like their attempt was very, very poor. Mm-hmm. And it felt tacked on. The whole time was always very tacked on, and I kind of wish it just wasn't there at all.
Yeah, Sony did not have trophies from the get-go, so there are still a bunch of games that don't support it.
Yeah.
I didn't really care for trophies. Just I'd load up my profile screen, and it just seemed to take forever to load that screen because it was loading in the trophies, or you'd have to sync your trophies. And I just, no, forget it. I don't care. I'll just keep playing.
See, Microsoft was streamlined, and Sony's was just tacked on, and it looked tacked on, so that was bad.
Yeah.
And I was also very disappointed in Home. The first thing I wrote in disappointments was PlayStation Home.
Did you really have expectations for PlayStation Home?
Yeah, like I wasn't crazy about it, and I think maybe if you're like a fan of The Sims, you'd like it more, but I thought the idea was cool. Like the idea was neat that you could have this gathering of, your friends or random people, and you can go to their place and interact, but I felt like it was very slow and kind of clunky. And what I really wanted from it was a place where, let's say the three of us were, PlayStation Network friends, and we could kind of hop on, and we would maybe like go in there right from the beginning, and you could move around quicker, and then we could just sit down and chat and like talk about stuff and be like, hey, let's play, let's just say Resistance, and then we can just all play it. And I just felt like Home was just this unnecessary step to doing that, and I felt like it could have been a lot more if they just made it play faster and they made it more worthwhile. Like if they gave you more arcade games or bowling games or stuff to do like in the home, that would make it fun, or give you some reason why you should actually decorate your house and things like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously no one plays it anymore, so it was not a good choice.
From what I've heard, there actually is a community of people who love PlayStation Home and spend a lot of money in there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, there is.
And those people are complete... Well, I would want to say they're weirdos, but I don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what I really wanted was, like, to have this world that was just filled by nice gamers that would be fun to explore. And, like, see, like, what is this person's tastes? And, like, go there and just kind of explore and, I don't know, find out about someone else, and then maybe we'll realize that we're actually similar in our gameplay, and then we would, be friends on PlayStation. Yeah. But it just didn't work out that way. It was not implemented well.
No. I think that's what they had intended right from the get-go. Like, all the positive things that we were looking forward to, that's kind of what Sony wanted to do, but the implementation of it was just terrible. Yeah. I mean, I remember at one point, like, sitting in my quote-unquote apartment or whatever it was that I had.
Right.
And it's like, you can buy a couch. I'm like, oh, let's buy a couch. And then, 5-10 minutes later, I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Like,
yeah,
exactly. I'm standing in a room, no one's around me. Like, who's even seeing this? Like, what am I doing? And then, you just go play another game or something.
Yeah, like if they made it more like Animal Crossing or something, where there was a reason to do it, it would have been better.
Yeah.
So, and it also took like gigabytes to download, and that's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
So, it was promptly deleted after I realized it didn't have enough space.
So, do you think PlayStation Home makes a return in the PlayStation 4?
Absolutely not.
I don't know.
I mean, unless they tweak it or do some sort of iteration of it where it's, totally different and completely usable, I can't see them bring it back. At least not with the PlayStation Home branding.
Yeah, moniker.
Yeah.
I never thought about it until you just asked, but I think if we see Home again, or Home 2, maybe it would be something like the Miiverse.
Yeah?
Like on Wii U. Maybe where it's more like that social network of games, and then maybe they mask it in a non-Mii like scenario where people have,
Microsoft
arms.
and Sony should totally steal the Miiverse, because that is the best thing Nintendo has going for it.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm serious. That's cool.
Arguably the only good thing it has going for its online play at this point in time.
And I honestly feel that's what Home wanted to be when Sony had the idea. It just never happened. And then Nintendo did it first. So, do you think it's coming back, Jed?
No, I don't think so. Maybe it comes back in a sort of Miiverse-like thing, as you said. But
yeah,
I actually would I would be curious as to what a next-gen PlayStation Home would be like. Where do you go with that idea?
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Now that we're talking about it, I kind of want to see what a next-gen PlayStation Home looks like.
Don't wish it, because it might happen.
Yeah.
Now with Wonderbook support.
Yeah, oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. That would sell it. You can design your home by moving the furniture with the PlayStation Move.
Yeah. Wow, great feature.
So, we had to do something with the PlayStation Move.
One of the things we've got to talk about while we're talking about the PS3 and its lifespan, what did you guys do during the great PSN blackout of, I can't remember what year that was, but when Sony got hacked and PSN was down for
I canceled my credit card.
Yeah.
I know I did that.
Yeah.
And I remember the lady on the other line was like, "Oh yeah, is this for the PlayStation thing?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Yeah, we get like $10 or $12 an hour."
Wow.
It's like great. It's pretty horrible.
Yeah.
I played Xbox and canceled my credit card, but I also played Xbox.
Mm. I remember I couldn't get Arcana Hearts 3 because it came out then, and I really wanted to play it, and I was actually pretty upset. So I missed that game. Thank you, PlayStation.
PlayStation going down at that time completely killed Arcana Heart 3. Although it was a super niche game and it probably wasn't going to do all that great anyway, but the fact that it went down at the time it did probably completely bankrupted that game.
Yeah, totally. So, big miss out for them, but I don't know. I would have bought it, so hopefully Sony gets their act together. Doesn't get hacked. What did you do, Jet?
I played Xbox primarily. I did.
Xbox, yeah.
I don't think
Actually, at the time, I didn't actually have an Xbox, so I just had PlayStation and just the Wii. And I'm actually trying to think too when it exactly came out. I probably played like Left 4 Dead on the PC or something for a month, which was probably a great time. But yeah, I don't know.
One last thing.
I think if something like that happens again with the PS4, Sony's going to be in a lot of trouble.
Oh yeah, that was one of the biggest fails of this console generation. Maybe second only to the Red Ring of Death. That's one of the big things that scares me about this next generation of hardware is what happens if we get another Red Ring.
True.
So, I mean, I've generally had good luck with my consoles, but I have had a first-gen DS Lite suffer from the crack, and my first Xbox also died from the Red Ring. So I am a little more reluctant to jump in on hardware, at least right out the gate. At least that's what I say right now, and then once these sizzle reels come out, I'll probably be all in. But we'll see.
Yeah. I've still got my original PS3, the big black-bodied, takes SD cards, that one.
I was just going to say the same thing. Like, to Sony's credit, all of my PS systems are all, like, first gens, and they all still work.
Exactly.
Like, even my PS1 from 1996 or something, like, still totally.
You don't have to flip it upside down to play games?
Nope.
No.
Nice.
And the only real problem is that my PS2 takes maybe like 10 minutes to load a game, but it loads. Yep. So if you plan accordingly, it's totally fine. But yeah, other than that, everything works great. Yeah, exactly. I've done that actually. Made like a pizza.
Nice.
Anything else you guys wanted to add about the PS3?
Got to talk about PlayStation Plus.
Yes.
This is a definite positive.
PlayStation Plus is great. I like all the free games and the deals. everyone else should copy this model, and I don't understand why they haven't yet.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. I mean, it's awesome. It's so beneficial. The instant game collections and free games every month and discounts, and yeah, it's great.
It's such a much better value proposition than Xbox Live, where Xbox is taking away services that everyone else offers for free, as opposed to PlayStation, which is like, give us the $60 and we'll give you all this extra stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I know lots of Xbox people that are saying, like, well, I don't have to pay, or like, the online for PlayStation is free and stuff. It's like, yeah, and they're offering you all of this stuff with it. Like, what do you get for your gold subscription to Xbox Live, aside from the ability to be on the internet?
Yeah. I think it was an article on Gama Sutra I read about the PlayStation Plus model and how it is superior in every way to Xbox. Man, it was so good, like so well written, and I could see PlayStation Plus being Sony's definite leverage for the PS4 being the system to buy.
Absolutely.
Like, so long as they continue it forward, like, this is the best thing the PS3 has going for it.
Mm-hmm.
And, that could be a huge... I mean, they could do a very in-your-face attack against Microsoft and be like, hey, this is what we're giving you, gamers, and, like, you should be with us.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be effective.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely true. They're offering way more. And it's really surprising that nobody else has copied it, like you said, Jet.
Do you think Microsoft tries to copy it with Xbox Live going into this next system?
With giving free games away? No, I don't think so.
No.
The thing is, like, Xbox...
I think Microsoft has enough money, they can probably afford to kind of nickel and dime those and, maybe be a little alienated and they won't be, hurt.
Exactly. I mean, they've got it kind of locked up, as, we talked about before, with the whole achievements and your gamer score and stuff like that. Like, people aren't... If you're an Xbox person and you've got a gamer score that you're proud of, or you've got achievements that you're proud of, you're not going to leave Xbox, regardless of what PlayStation's offering you. And I think Xbox, or Microsoft specifically, knows that, and I think they've got the hook, line, and sinker. So, I mean, as long as they sort of integrate the current gamer score and current achievements into the new one, they're not going to have to offer things like PlayStation are offering, because they know they've got the fan base and they know that they're going to stay with them and be loyal.
Mm-hmm. I think Jet wrote down some of these negatives, but I think if Sony can hammer out the cross-game chat like Microsoft can, that'll be a huge plus for them. I honestly have no idea why you can't do that. And I think if they get that down and they can make the sort of social aspect of PlayStation Network as a whole better, I think they will totally rival and be way better than Xbox Live, at least the current Xbox Live. And that is definitely a big selling point for me. If they did that, I would be very much on board with the PS4 from the beginning.
All right, so one last question. In hindsight, where does the PS3 sit in your pantheon of favorite gaming consoles of all time?
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
It's not at the top. Oh,
man.
I'm not even sure if I'd put mine in the top 10.
Really? Top 10?
Wow.
Like, you have 10 consoles that are better than the PS3?
He's got, like, the Magnavox Odyssey.
If you're going to separate, like, the Game Boy and the Game Boy Advance and the DS, like, those are all
Well,
phenomenal.
yeah, that's true, too.
Yeah, Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to say nowhere near the top.
All right. As someone who has never owned a PlayStation platform before, the fact that I bought a PS3 and bought dozens of games for it, it's done a lot to earn a lot of goodwill with me. So I definitely wouldn't call it one of my favorites. As far as consoles this generation go, I'd definitely say the 360, but I did like the PS3 a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it gained steam with me with the PlayStation Plus. Once I actually found out about it and started using it, it made the system... I mean, I always liked the system, but definitely made it more appealing.
Yeah, I just grabbed Guardians of Middle-earth for free thanks to PlayStation Plus.
Yeah. There you go.
So, Matt, we should play that sometime. We will set up our own MOBA team and take on the world.
Let's do it.
Man.
Jason, you're not welcome.
I'm not. I am not a good MOBA player, so don't even You
we're
wouldn't even
terrible
miss
too,
me, don't worry.
Yeah,
let's
not-
all
not
start
very
from
good.
the bottom and work our way up.
Yeah. By take over the world, we mean limp into battle.
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
totally playing the wrong MOBA too. Like, who gives a crap if you're good at Guardians
Yeah,
of Middle
no
Earth?
big deal.
But got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
All right, so let's wrap up the show. That was a very good chat on the PS3, and I'm really excited to see what happens at this PlayStation meeting. What do you think would be like the ultimate head fake of this not actually being the PS3 or
They
PS4
go,
announcement?
they go the Nintendo route and announce the PlayStation Vita XL.
Exactly. Or the Canadian only PlayStation 3 Mini.
Yeah, exactly. In different colors.
Exactly. Wait, what are you asking now? What if it's not
what
the
if
PS4?
it's not the PS4?
Oh man, I don't know. If it's not the PS4, I'd be a little upset, but I'd be happy if it was something like, hey, we're releasing the entire back catalog of PS1 and PS2 games on the PS3. That would be great. Like every single one.
Yeah, it would be. I
That'd be
doubt
pretty
it.
I'd do
I
that.
bet you the next the PS4 isn't PS3 compatible.
Oh yeah, I doubt it. Yeah, no way.
What about you, Jet? Ultimate head fake.
Oh man, ultimate head fake.
They're teaming with Microsoft.
Imagine. To make the X station.
They pull a Sega Saturn
Yeah.
and the console comes out on February the 20th. They're just like, and the system
Wow.
is out now.
They lift a box and there it is.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then Oprah comes out and she's like, and you're getting one, and you're getting
Yeah,
one.
exactly. That'd be good.
All right, so let's wrap things up. Matt, what do you got going on?
So Biff Bam Pop, I am doing a Far Cry 3 review, which should be up, I'm going to say by the end of the week, but probably during the weekend sometime.
Sick.
Yeah.
Jason?
I am working on the Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed review for Inside Gaming, and in honor of the PlayStation 3's farewell, you guys should check out the anthology blog where my PS1 section is almost done.
Nice.
So
Great.
cool.
And as for me, I am slowly working through a Fire Emblem Awakening review. Writing has been very tough in light of the move, but I will get to it, because that is a game that I really like and want to help spread the word any way I can. I also have a series of blog posts called the Adventures in Apartment Hunting 2013 edition on my blog inthirdperson.com. This was something I did last year as well, and there are some interesting stories of trying to find a place to live, and some of the places I've been to were pretty interesting, to say the least. So definitely go to my blog, check those out. On Splitkick, right now, you can check out Jim's Vault Play of Binary Domain, which is, speaking of Sega fails, no, that's a little mean. That was one of the last major I think that was one of the last. No, it's not one of the last of anything. I was going to say that was the last of their... That was a game they put out, and then afterwards, after it failed, they were like, alright, we're doing some major streamlining of our product lines, and we're going to streamline it to just Sonic, Aliens, Total War, and Football Manager, I think was it. So, Binary Domain, at least sales-wise, was kind of a bust, but I know there are a lot of fans of that game nonetheless. So check that out. Also, I saw that there's a review for Far Cry, or not Far Cry 3, that was Devil May Cry, the new Devil May Cry DMC from Martin Perry. Aaron's got his review for Assassin's Creed 3, finally out now. And Broken Tamriel from Davey Hugs is wrapping up, so go and check that out as well. Also, don't forget to check out Rocket Jump, Bits of Reality, Old Game Plus. You can also email us at bosscast@splitkick.com. Don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes if you haven't already. And on Twitter, you can find us at Maddie Lang, at Jay Jasicki, and at JetLandyJoe. So till next time, we'll see you later.
See you later.
Bye.